5G deployment is substantially worse than originally anticipated.
This is reckless, it's dangerous, and it's got to stop. Take a pause. This is about a cell phone signal, and we're focused on protecting lives.
The airlines are requesting that 5G be implemented everywhere in the U.S. except within 2 miles of runways at affected airports. The FAA has previously warned that the technology could interfere and give false readings with plane instruments like radio altimeters, which measure the altitude of planes.
I think if you were to ask us what our number one concern is here in the near term, it is the deployment of 5G, because the FAA has issued an airworthiness directive that would significantly impact our operations.
With 5G services being used around the globe, why isn't this an issue elsewhere? Reuters reports that the European Union set standards in 2019 for a lower frequency than what is to be rolled out here in the U.S., and that there have been no issues so far. AT&T and Verizon have already delayed the launch twice after previous warnings. On Tuesday, both companies announced they will temporarily defer turning on some towers around certain runways. An AT&T spokesperson said the company is, quote, frustrated by the FAA's inability to do what nearly 40 countries have done, which is to safely deploy 5G technology without disrupting aviation services, and that they plan on launching their 5G services everywhere else as planned. In a statement, President Biden said his team is engaged with wireless carriers and airlines. But the issue is already impacting global airlines as well, with Air India, Japan Airlines, and Emirates all canceling some flights to the U.S. over concerns. I'm Ryan Smith reporting.
The Fox 11 Storm Chaser, powered by Northeast Wisconsin's most accurate forecast.
As a public defender, Judge Karen fought for her clients' rights. She was elected to the bench because she believes in doing the right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period. Sometimes life pulls you from up here to down here to teach you a lesson. And you're in a valley right now. And there are lessons in this valley. I hope you learn from them.
Objective, independent justice.
You can always turn your life around. If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Single mother Carol Bryant is suing Josh Stone in the amount of $2,500. Bryant claims Mr. Stone exposed her son to nudity, and she feels he should be held accountable. Mr. Stone claims the plaintiff's son was spying on him, so he's not responsible. He's countersuing for $2,500.
All right, Miss Bryant, you have sued Mr. Stone for making a public nuisance. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And, sir, you've countersued for damages for defamation?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, so I have read your pleadings, and I understand that this is involving your teenage son.
Yes.
All right, tell me about it.
I have 2 sons. I'm a single mom, and I work. It's not easy. I have a 13-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I'm very concerned, naturally, about how they're growing up without their father.
What's your relationship to the defendant?
We're next-door neighbors.
Okay.
We live very close together in our neighborhood.
All right. Do you live in a house?
Yes.
Okay. So what happened with your son?
Well, I came home from work one day. My younger son was sitting on the porch. He was very upset. I questioned him, and it turned out that he was looking at my neighbor's house because there was a naked woman in the window.
In the defendant's house?
Yes.
Okay. Where is your house in relationship to her house?
We're next door neighbors, Your Honor.
Okay.
And I would just
So
like
is this from the sidewalk your son was looking in the window? Your son was on his property?
Right in my home, in our living room.
Or he's in your living room looking out the window at this man's house?
That's right.
And what's going on in your house that he was looking at?
I hired this maid to come and clean my design studio once a week. She comes to my house on Wednesdays, and she cleans my house, and I hire her from this topless maid service.
Topless maid service?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And do they really clean?
Oh, yeah, they do clean the house.
Oh, yeah?
I also work for an architectural firm.
Okay.
Very reputable firm.
Right.
And I have a design studio in my house where I'm super busy in my studio.
Right.
And,
except on Wednesdays.
Right.
Because you watch the maid clean.
Not necessarily.
Well, I would think that's why you would have a topless maid, because you want to watch the maid topless and
Your Honor,
clean.
that's correct. He's sitting there on the couch, just staring like in a creepy way at this woman who's barely cleaning.
Well, my question though is, why aren't the blinds closed?
My curtains are closed. Your Honor.
Oh no, Your Honor. I'm sorry. That's simply not true.
My curtains are closed.
Did you ever go and talk to him about this problem?
Yes, Your Honor. I
Okay.
approached him like reasonable adults. We're neighbors, very cordial in the morning. I say hello.
What happened when she talked to you about the problem?
She came up to my house, my property, and asked me to close the curtains.
And you said?
And I said that I will do my best to keep them closed. And I did. I really did. I rescheduled my maid to come in the afternoon, late afternoon, at several occasions.
How difficult is it to create privacy in a home? You could have put a blanket up when she came, or something at the window.
That's exactly right. But
well, it's exactly wrong because there was no blanket. There were no
Why
curtains.
didn't you cover your window?
Your Honor, what I do between the four walls of my house is my prerogative.
Business.
Is my business.
Right, but you also have an obligation, if there are children and young people around, to keep what you do in your home inside your home.
Coming up on Supreme Justice.
Not only is my son affected, but now I'm hearing that other children, even younger than 13,
So there's a show every afternoon at 3 o'clock?
Weekly,
Not
on
exactly.
schedule.
And later.
So did you call the pound?
Well, here's the deal.
Did you call the pound?
Yes, I did call it.
Was the car impounded?
Yes, it was.
ma'am.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
As a professional bull rider, I'm used to taking chances. But when it comes to my insurance, I don't. I use Liberty Mutual. They customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
And by switching, you can even save $665.
Hey, Tex. Can someone else get a turn?
Yeah, hang on, I'm about to break my own record. Yeah! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
At USAA, we've been called too exclusive, because we only serve those who honorably serve. All ranks, all branches, and their eligible family members. Yep, that is exclusive, and we're fine with that.
If you receive regular payments as a result of an accident, wrongful death, or medical malpractice, JG Wentworth can help turn those payments into cash you can use now. With JG Wentworth, you'll have a knowledgeable team on your side, helping you get the money you need now. Maybe you want to buy a house, a car, pay off debt, or go back to school. The point is, it's your money, and you should be able to use it when you need it.
Call 877-CASH now or go to jgwentworth.com to see if you're eligible for a $5,000 advance.
Entresto is the #1 heart failure brand prescribed by cardiologists and has helped over 1 million people. It was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
At USAA, we've been called too exclusive, because we only serve those who honorably serve. All ranks, all branches, and their eligible family members. Yep, that is exclusive, and we're fine with that.
Find out what your case may really be worth. It may be a lot more than you think.
Hupy and Abraham.
I got almost $1 million.
$350,000.
I got paid fast. A whole lot more than the insurance company offered.
If you're injured, call now. It's free and confidential. And there's never a fee unless you win. Tell them you mean business. Call 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Right now.
We're stuck in 1925.
You guys, if we stay here, it could get really bad. We're just a bunch of weirdos with truly random superpowers.
DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Wednesday at 7 on CW14.
I thank God for my life and for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who die. The ones that give their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we
Thank you.
love.
And welcome home.
Like our chicken pie.
Important news you need, summarized and delivered to you every morning. Sign up for the Fox 11 newsletter. Balanced news and severe weather coverage from the team you trust. Easy to find, all in one place. Sign up for the Fox 11 newsletter today.
You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of single mother Carol Bryant, who is suing Josh Stone for $2,500.
So why are we here?
Well,
because he won't cover the windows?
That is a huge concern. I had to approach him a second time. We had a confrontation in the yard, and I told him that not only is my son affected, but now I'm hearing that other children, even younger than 13.
So there's a show every afternoon at 3 o'clock?
Weekly,
Not
on
exactly.
schedule.
This is exactly where things get out of control, Your Honor.
What happened? How did things get out of control?
When she came up to me the second time, and I was, listening to her, and then she started telling me about Neighborhood Watch. She's organizing this Neighborhood Watch.
Were you talking to other parents in the neighborhood about this?
I was greatly concerned, especially when I realized that this was affecting the whole neighborhood. And he's smirking at me. He's giving me an attitude like it doesn't matter. And I realized that I needed to go a little further to protect not only my son, but his friends.
Other children.
Exactly.
And so what did you do?
Well, I printed up a flyer and I distributed it.
Let me see a copy of the flyer.
Okay. Actually,
I
I
have a
believe
flyer,
he has
actually,
it.
that was.
Let me see.
And I found this flyer on the sidewalk, out of all places. This is when I really got worried about where this situation is going.
Right. How much you pay for this maid service?
How much did I pay for it?
Yeah.
It's $100 per visit.
Okay, that's
Yeah, so
normal
it's-
maid service.
It's a normal.
That's a normal price of maid service.
Yeah,
so you
there's
could.
there's nothing really out of the
except that
ordinary.
she's not wearing clothes.
She's right.
So you put this up around the neighborhood?
This is.
Well, I distributed it to specific mailboxes,
Right.
neighbors with small
Did
children.
you mail these out?
I
Yes,
passed
she
them
has.
around.
Yes, she did.
My son and I walked around the neighborhood, and we went to his friends and classmates' homes to warn them of
and
this.
who did you give this to?
Just to other parents, so
You were
that they would
handing
be
this out to
informed.
parents?
Yes.
I have a question. Did you ever call the police?
No, I didn't, because I realized it's not illegal to
It
be a
is
pervert.
illegal in California.
Oh.
It is illegal. Nudity is illegal on private property if the nudity is visible to the public.
Your Honor.
Did you ever think with all of this running around and printing out flyers that maybe I should just call the police?
I guess I didn't want it to get to such a serious level. I was hoping we could work it out since we are neighbors, and I have no plans to move. I don't believe he's going to move, so I wanted to work it out.
I never talked to her kids or her about.
That
or,
is a
or
lie.
when- or
That is a lie.
I never
Well,
went
he has
after.
spoken to my children directly.
Yes, no, but I never accused you or went after you for trespassing, for stomping all over my lawn, and so on and so forth.
But you countersue for defamation of character.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes,
But
I am.
everything in here is true.
Well,
Everything here is true. What's not true here? What's not true?
It's not true that I'm a pervert.
It doesn't say you're a pervert.
Yeah. Well,
It says that you have naked women that are being exposed to children in the area. That's true. So you can forget the defamation because the defense is true. So that's out.
Your Honor, my maid is topless. She's not fully nude.
It doesn't matter.
she comes-
No, exposing the breast. The breast is indecent exposure.
Well, what my neighbors should really do is,
what you should do is get some better curtains. Is what you should do. Because I wouldn't want my children, 3, 4, 5 years old or whatever, being exposed to that. And it seems to me that if you got this big house, why is everything always taking place in front of the window?
He's doing it on purpose, Your Honor. I believe he likes corrupting the morals of the youth. My family is important to me. My community is important to me. And if you can't be on board with our standards, then
Your Honor, I truly believe
Sorry,
in.
I'm reading. Excuse me. I'm reading the California Civil Code on a public nuisance. There are elements, which means these are the things you have to prove. That the defendant created a condition that was indecent or offensive to the senses, that interfered with the comfortable enjoyment of your own property, that it affected a number of people, and that an ordinary person would be reasonably annoyed or disturbed by the behavior. Do we think we've met those elements? I think an ordinary person would have been annoyed by the behavior. So I believe she set out a case, a valid case for public nuisance. Now we get to the damages, though. What's the $2,500?
Well, I started a neighborhood organization called iWatch, and it's just a forum for neighbors to get together. We need to rent a space, serve snacks, beverages, and discuss these kind of problems when they come into our community.
In the neighborhood.
We can
So
cut them off.
how did you come up with $2,500?
Well, that's the, I have a list, a breakdown of the costs.
Let me see the breakdown of the costs.
There's a rental of the hall. We need to.
Why can't y'all have it in everybody's house? You know, like rotate that around.
Well,
One
it's a
month it's in your
large
house,
group
and then there's how many
people.
neighbors are there?
It's a sizable neighborhood. I invited some of the other school children
In
nearby.
your city, you are entitled, if you have a valid neighborhood organization, to use a city-owned facility for free to have neighborhood meetings. So I'm not going to give you the money for that. But to print out flyers and communication, $700, I'm going to give you that. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. Good luck to you.
All rise. Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $700.
I'm happy and relieved that the judge has ruled on the side of public decency, and I hope that in the future you realize that what goes on in your home has affected my child.
Carol, I'm not totally insensitive to what your son had witnessed. If I do decide to have him made over again, at least I'll have my curtains up.
Coming up.
In Florida, you can't register a car without having those documents.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So what were you planning to do with the car if you didn't have the documents to register the car?
Closed captioning provided by
Celebrate the Caesar way. Download Caesar slots for free today to enjoy endless entertainment and infinite prizes. Whoa!
When I grow up, I want to be a ballerina. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a teacher because they know a lot of awesome stuff. They get to dance all day for their job. I would help kids get better and make everything super fun. I'll stand in front of the class and make sure everyone knows what I know. They can stand on their tippy toes. I'd have a cool waiting room with games, toys, and a huge TV. And twirl around like magical princesses.
If your child is sick over and over again, it could be PI, a defect of the immune system that affects millions. Early testing can give children a chance to dream.
And when I'm a teacher, my favorite subject will be recess. And I'll give every kid a cherry lollipop because that's the best flavor. I can't wait to grow up because then I will leap for the stars.
Jeffrey Modell Foundation, helping children reach for their dreams. Visit us at info4pi.org.
5 nights a week. See the world through Sheldon Vision.
My brain is better than everybody's!
Experience life Sheldon style.
Look! A new topical antihistamine with lidocaine. I can't wait till I get a rash.
The Big Bang Theory.
Bazinga.
Weeknight at 6 and 6:30 on CW14.
One-of-a-kind jewelry starts right here.
Every day I think of my father. We've designed and manufactured as a team. Every piece brings with it quality, value, but most importantly, it brings with us family tradition.
Hussar's House of Fine Diamonds.
Current Young Professionals has provided me the incredible opportunity to invest in the community that has invested into me. It's been a great chance to connect with others in the area.
Every weekday, get going with Live.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 11.
You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Kathy Bridgewater is suing neighborhood barber Jesse Asen in the amount of $1,550. Ms. Bridgewater claims Mr. Asen sold her a car she couldn't register because the defendant couldn't produce the title, and then the car was impounded. Mr. Asen claims he told Ms. Bridgewater to take possession of the car once he had the paperwork, but says the plaintiff wanted the car immediately.
All right, Ms. Bridgewater, Mr. Asen, I've read your pleadings. Ma'am, you're suing for $1,550 representing the price of a vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right? And you sold the car?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so how do you know him, ma'am?
He lives in my neighborhood.
Okay, so tell me what happened.
I went to him with pretty much 6 months savings for a car, $1,500, and was promised that he was going to handle the title proceedings for me to actually drive the car after.
You had a car for sale?
Yes, I did.
What was it, on Craigslist or something?
No, it was in front of my house.
You had a car for sale in front of your house. What
Correct.
kind of car was it?
It was a 2000 Toyota Celica.
A 2000 Toyota Celica. So you saw the car in the yard?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how did you contact him?
Well, he was in the yard putting the sign into the window, and I hopped on the opportunity to ask for a test drive.
Right.
We went on a test drive. I fell in love with the car. One thing led to another, and he took me to the bank, you know, to take out the full amount, and was assured that he would handle all the paperwork with dealing with the car.
Where was all the paperwork?
Well, I didn't have the registration or the title. I assured her that with the sale, but she was insistent that she wanted the car today. And
Right.
So that's when we committed to the sale.
Right. Now, in Florida, you can't register a car without having those documents.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So what were you planning to do with the car if you didn't have the documents to register the car?
Well, I purchased the car.
Right.
He also assured me that I could park it in my driveway,
right,
which I have a picture of, and it should be fine for a few days if it's not on the road. That was my understanding.
So you just wanted to make sure you had the car. He didn't sell it to anybody else.
Yes, ma'am.
So you parked it at home in your driveway.
Yes.
Okay, so far so good?
Yeah, well, that's what I instructed her to do.
Right. Is that what you did?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what's the problem?
Well, here's the deal. The car got impounded. And so
But why was the car impounded?
Well, it didn't have the registration.
Ma'am, I could fill that in.
Can
I waited a full day, woke up the next morning,
Right.
the car was still there, got back home from work, the car was missing.
Okay, so the car was impounded because it had expired tags on it.
Correct.
Okay.
But she was aware of that, Your Honor. That was the whole point. I told her, let's keep the car in my place so I
Right.
can get the title, registration, and then we can go and complete the sale. And
But you could have told her, I'm not selling you this car until I have the paperwork. You
Well-
could have said that.
Yeah, but we had an agreement that she wanted the car that day, that specific
Right.
day.
I understand that. But now it got towed.
Coming up.
Since they impounded the car, I was trying to figure out what was going on why the car got impounded.
It got impounded because it had expired tags and it was parked in her front yard,
Listen, but
right?
that's-
Is
but
that
that's-
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Simple.
Closed captioning provided by
And Doug. We gotta tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes car insurance, so you only pay for what you need. And we gotta do it fast.
Woo! 34 miles per hour! New personal record, Limu!
He'll be back. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Dear MS, from day one, you've tried to define me.
But I never invited you in. It's my life.
And this is my journey.
I've found a way to do things differently with Ocrevus, an infusion treatment that's 2 times a year.
For adults with relapsing or primary progressive forms of multiple sclerosis, Ocrevus is proven effective in reducing relapses in RMS and slowing disability progression in RMS and PPMS.
Don't take Ocrevus if you've had a life-threatening allergic reaction to it or have hepatitis B. Tell your doctor about vaccinations or if you've had Hep B, as it could come back. A common side effect of Ocrevus is infusion reactions, and some may require hospitalization. It can increase your risk of infections, which can be serious and may decrease certain types of immunoglobulins. While PML was not reported in clinical trials, it could happen. An increased risk of cancer, including breast cancer, may exist.
Sorry, MS.
You don't get to control
Every part of me.
MS can't own us.
Ask your doctor about 2 times a year Ocrevus.
For people living with HIV, keep being you and ask your doctor about Biktarvy. Biktarvy is a complete one-pill, once-a-day treatment used for HIV in certain adults. It's not a cure, but with one small pill, Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to and stay undetectable. That's when the amount of virus is so low, it cannot be measured by a lab test. Research shows people who take HIV treatment every day and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transmit HIV through sex.
Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare, life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Do not take Biktarvy if you take dofetilide or rifampin. Tell your doctor about all the medicines and supplements you take if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Biktarvy without talking to your doctor. Common side effects were diarrhea, nausea, and headache.
If you're who you are, and ask your doctor if Biktarvy is right for you.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We're normal people just like you.
And together, we can make a difference.
Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
You know there's a light that glows by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Don't expect